Starlink is ready for prime time as far as it goes for RVs and for boats and for the outdoor and portability lifestyle. But is it for you? Well, in this video, we're going to go through the pros and the cons and should you do it, should you not? Am I going to do it? Am I not going to do it? But anyway, we're going to go into all of that because even Elon says it's great for RVs. So we'll get into all of that right now. Hey, before we get into the video, I just want to talk about what Set Power USA sent me, which were these portable battery-powered fans, 16-inch and a 12-inch. Well, for that 12-inch model, it's going to solve a problem that I have. You've been watching this channel very often. You know that I don't really like my fantastic fan in my leisure travel van. And so this little portable battery-powered fan is going to be perfect to crack open a window, set it there, and circulate some fresh air through our RV. It's going to be absolutely fantastic on those crisp Colorado afternoons when I don't want to turn on my air conditioner and I can really get some good fresh air circulating through the RV. Now then, they charge in just 2.5 hours. And on the low setting, they have a 38-hour runtime, and on the high setting, about 5.5 hours. So it's going to be perfect for the use that I want. Now then, they do have the larger 16-inch version as well. So if you want one, I'll put the link down below. But anyway, let's get into this week's video. All right, so even Elon says, yes, Starlink is fantastic for RVs and for camping. And so whenever I was looking at that tweet, I scrolled up to see who he was replying to. And guess what? It was a fellow leisure travel van enthusiast, somebody named Dave Lee, who also has a leisure travel van. So Dave, good job, man. Getting Elon to give the old thumbs up on RV use for Starlink is incredible. Thanks for showing out with that leisure travel van of yours. Anyway, so yes, it wasn't too long ago that people were just experimenting. It was not ready for prime time necessarily to take it away from your home service address and set it up somewhere else. People started doing all of these hacks to where they were, moving to a place and turning that into their home address. Well, that is no more. Now then, let's get into the cost of Starlink. Now, Starlink is gotten a little bit more expensive over the last couple of months. The hardware's gone up and the monthly fee has gone up, and then they did add that fee for portability as well. Now, supposedly until June 3rd, you're still able to do that hack where you just change your service address and you don't have to pay that monthly portability fee, but you may want to, and I'll tell you why. So first of all, hardware, $599, right? And so you get a dish, you get some cable, and then you also get the router, and then the monthly fee now is gone up from $99 to $110. And if you want to add that portability add-on to it, another $25. So it's $135 a month for, that's not bad for completely unlimited internet, and it will work from anywhere in Canada, the United States, and Mexico, because that's what your plan covers is your continent, right? So that's North America, Canada, United States, Mexico. And so not too shabby, right? $135, and the report's been great. Over 100 megabits coming up, going down, not so great going up, but still, it's fantastic. What basically, the 5G and the super LTE signals are getting, I think I get like 90 on my best days with my Verizon Unlimited LTE. So it's beating that, so not bad, right? Now then, limitations. Well, if you've been watching some of the other YouTubers, RV YouTubers who have gotten Starlink, it doesn't work in a tree environment. In fact, they have a terrible time with that. And unless you're really out west in the desert, you may come across this. So then, is that something you're going to want to battle? So that's the first question you have to ask yourself. Where do you like to camp? If you're out in the desert all the time, I think it's going to be a fantastic solution, probably well worth the money. But if you are in the east, or if you are in the Midwest, anywhere where campgrounds have trees, if you're in Colorado, out there underneath those beautiful trees, you may be out of luck. So is it going to be worth the money to be an early adopter until they figure something out? I'm assuming they will figure something out, but even television satellite networks been around for decades and still need open skies in order to work. So imagine this is always going to need some sort of open sky. So is that going to be for you? Now then, are you going to be camping where there's no cell signal? If that's the case, yeah, Starlink probably is going to be for you. But if you're going to be somewhere where there is a cell signal and your phones, which I always, like my Epic off-grid that I talk about is Verizon, but our phones are AT&T. So I always have 2 different carriers. So I can choose whichever signal strength is going to be the best. And so I always think that's a good idea. But again, if you are not, where there's no cell signals, then do you need Starlink? I don't think so. All right, so then let's also talk about just the pain aspect of it. Well, you have to set out the dish. You have to then use your phone to program it to go look for all of the satellites. You have to run your cable into your RV. You have to set up that router. And so, yes, it's not as simple as what I do, which is basically nothing. My little router, LTE router, is always set up, ready to go. I don't have to do anything. And so with Starlink, again, there is you got to put it out and you got to tear it down whenever you move. All right, but let's talk about moving with that $25 portability. I think that's actually fantastic. Probably well worth the money if you are an RVer to go ahead and get that $25. Because there's been a couple of things where if you have your home service address locked in and then you move it, you say you're on a 2-week trip out west and you put that service address here, well, when you go back home, you may not have availability when you get back home, because Starlink is still susceptible to only having so many customers in a certain area. So if you move your service address, guess what? Somebody may take your place, and then when you get home, you not have any service at all. So that's not great. So I do think the $25 add-on is definitely well worth it. I would not try to do the hack, which is just moving the service address around. That is, unless you are full-time and you are always moving all the time anyway. So with that being said, you really need to look at that aspect. So cost has got to be an issue, just overall, are you willing to go put it up and take it down every time you want to leave? Are you willing to not have it if you are under trees? And then you say, well, I want to mount it on top of my RV and use it while I'm going down the road. Well, guess what? You can't do that. Before, Starlink just said, hey, this is against our terms of service. Please don't do that. You could void your warranty. Okay? Well, guess what? They've actually updated those terms of service. Not only will you void your warranty, but they'll kick you off the service permanently, because the FCC has not given them the ability to use internet on the move. I have no idea the government regulations around all that, but it is a thing. And so you are not able to do that. Will they probably put this into effect sometime? I would imagine so. Yeah, that's the dream, right? Because the airlines do it. They, their planes have Wi-Fi, and so they're able to move around. So now then, is that a big deal to you? If it is, well then guess what? You can't do it anyway. So I would say Starlink is not for you. So am I going to get Starlink? No, not at this point. I'm not. I really have never been in a spot where I have not had either my AT&T phones working or my Epic off-grid Verizon working. And if they haven't worked, I've usually been in a forest of some sort up in the mountains where I don't know that my Starlink satellite dish would have picked up a satellite anyway. So as for me, no, I am not going to get Starlink. Should you? Well, goes to all of those questions. If money's not an object, you just want to have another toy, go for it. Just know it may not work if you're underneath trees. So then, with that being said, I do believe that Starlink is the future. I do believe that satellite internet probably is the future. Now then, how to get past the tree problem, I have no idea. But hey, who knows? Elon's pretty much a genius, and he's between SpaceX, Tesla, the Boring Company, Starlink. He's really solved a lot of problems, and surely, solving a problem with a satellite coming through trees it's going to be one of those next things he's going to solve. But with that said, if you want Starlink, get it. Otherwise, I don't think you need it. Again, I'm not going to do it. But anyway, thanks for joining me with this. I hope that answers some questions about Starlink if you've been thinking about it. But for me, no way. And again, so that's the end of this video, and we will see you next time.